Right now, there's an anonymous account calling itself Cyberleek that's been leaking Grand Theft Auto 6 gameplay for about a week straight. And normally, leaks like this get shut down fast. Rockstar's dealt with this before. Back in 2022, a British teenager linked to the hacking group Lapsus dumped 90 videos of early GTA 6 footage online, and within days he was identified and arrested. Case closed, threat neutralized. So the question everyone's asking right now is why this time is different. Why has Cyberleek been posting new footage almost daily, getting away with it, and somehow getting more brazen with every single clip? So let's actually dig into who this is, what they want, and why this one's turning out to be a much messier situation than anyone expected. The leak started on August 18th, just over a week before Rockstar's own official extended trailer was scheduled to drop. 2 gameplay clips and what looked like the game's complete map hit the internet, and almost immediately, GTA fans noticed something. This didn't feel like an accident or a random dump, it felt organized. Within days, more clips followed. Jason, one of the game's 2 playable protagonists inside a strip club, Jason flying over the city, a driving sequence on the highway. Then came the clip that convinced a lot of skeptics this was actually real, not some elaborate AI fake. Jason fires a gun into a wall and the bullet holes spell out the word leak. That's not something you fake with an old leaked build or some recycled footage. That's someone with real-time control inside an actual working version of the game, deliberately proving it. Rockstar responded the way you'd expect. Takedowns, copyright claims, the usual playbook. But this time, the claims weren't keeping up. Every time one video got pulled, another one showed up within hours, sometimes higher quality than the last. And that's when people started asking the obvious question. If this is a lone leaker working out of a hotel room like the 2022 hacker was, how are they still going after a full week? Here's where it gets interesting, because Cyberleek isn't just leaking footage, it's leaking it with branding attached. Every clip carries watermarks pointing back to a website and a manifesto, and alongside all of it, they've launched their own cryptocurrency, a Solana-based token called Cyberleek. According to the manifesto, this whole thing is framed as a protest. Cyberleek claims to be fighting for gamers' rights, specifically calling out the industry's move away from physical media, and raising concerns about GTA 6 potentially selling digital-only pre-orders and paid single-player content down the line. On paper, that's a cause a lot of frustrated gamers can get behind. But then there's the coin, and this is where the story stops looking like a protest and starts looking like something else entirely. Trading records show the Cyberleek token was actually already active on August 15th, 3 days before the first leak even went public. Within a single day of the leaks going viral, nearly $12 million worth of the token had changed hands. A fan-led investigation dug through the wallet activity and estimated that whoever's behind this account has personally made more than $50,000 off the token so far. So which is it? Is this a genuine protest against Rockstar's business practices, or is it a coordinated crypto pump dressed up in a cause people already sympathize with, so it spreads faster and draws less scrutiny? Because right now, there's no public proof the money's actually funding anything Cyberleek claims it will. They say the funds are going toward a secret project, something to protect the campaign from what they call corporate counterattacks. But they haven't said what that project actually is, who controls the money, or how any of it gets spent. That's a lot of secrecy for a group claiming to be fighting for transparency. And it gets murkier. The consumer advocacy movement Cyberleek's manifesto borrows language from, the one focused on preserving game ownership, has publicly distanced itself from the whole thing. They don't want to be associated with it. Which tells you something. Even people who'd normally be sympathetic to the stated cause aren't buying that this is really about gamers' rights. There's also a wrinkle worth mentioning, because not everything posted under the Cyberleek name has actually been legitimate. At least one account claiming to be part of this leaked a batch of AI-generated images, presenting them as new footage, before quietly deleting them once people started calling it out. Investigators looking into the situation concluded that particular account probably wasn't the real source at all, just someone writing the attention, which means even inside this story, you can't take every single thing posted under that name at face value. Some of it's real, some of it's opportunists jumping on a trending wave. So who's actually behind the real account? Nobody knows for certain, but there are a few clues. The leaker's website and its mirror sites are hosted through a German provider. Not exactly a smoking gun, but it does tell us this wasn't thrown together carelessly. And there's something in the manifesto itself that stands out, a specific complaint about on-disk DLC practices, something that was much more relevant to gaming discourse 10 to 15 years ago than it is today. That details led some to speculate this isn't some teenager doing this on a whim, like the 2022 case, but someone who's been around the industry, or at least around gaming criticism for a long time. And that actually connects back to why Rockstar's response looks so different this time. Instead of just filing takedowns and waiting for law enforcement to make an arrest the way they did in 2022, Take-Two has gone straight to federal court, filing subpoenas demanding information from both Microsoft and Discord. That's a much more aggressive legal move than what we saw last time, and it suggests Rockstar isn't confident a simple takedown campaign is going to be enough to stop this on its own. Because here's the thing that should genuinely worry them. The leaks so far have mostly been about gameplay, cars, the map, small mechanical details, nothing that spoils the actual story. But there are already signs of concern, and that if public attention starts to fade, if people get bored and move on before the leaker's ready to stop, they might escalate, start posting actual story spoilers just to stay relevant. Which means this entire situation is being driven, at least in part, by attention itself. The more people talk about it, argue about it, make videos breaking it down, the longer this stays profitable for whoever's behind that token, and the more pressure there is to keep the leaks coming. Which puts everyone covering this story, including me making this video right now, in a strange position, because talking about Cyberleek is part of what's keeping Cyberleek relevant. So where does this actually end? Rockstar's official extended trailer is set to premiere on Netflix on August 27th, an unusual choice of platform that's clearly meant to try to seize back control of the narrative before the leaks completely overshadow the official reveal. Whether that actually works depends on how much of the story Cyberleek's already spoiled by the time it airs, and whether the subpoenas to Microsoft and Discord actually lead anywhere before this drags on much longer. What we do know is that this isn't the simple, understandable leak story people initially assumed it was. It's not a disgruntled insider, and it's not really just a repeat of 2022 either. It's something messier, tangled up with crypto speculation, a cause that legitimate advocacy groups don't want to touch, and an anonymous account that's made real money off of confusion, sympathy, and attention, all while nobody can say for certain who's actually behind it. If Rockstar's subpoenas actually turn up a name, or if the leaks somehow reveal real story content once we get closer to release, that's a follow-up video on its own. For now, that's everything we actually know, versus everything that's still just speculation about the person calling themselves Cyberleek.